Hi, and welcome to today's live feed. It is April the 27th. Tomorrow was a big day. Tomorrow was your birthday. Tomorrow was Melissa's birthday. And she's still just a youngster. She's still in her 30s. I'm not in my 30s anymore. So I can say I'm dating a younger woman. That made me feel like a dirty old man. What a great way to start off the live feed. But I'm excited that it's your birthday tomorrow. And we'll try and do some fun stuff. I don't know about you guys, but we're gonna try and go for a walk with the kids and just kind of get out, social distance as safely as possible now that our quarantine period is done and we have a little bit more freedom, I guess, than what we had the past few weeks or so. I think that we'll just probably spend a lot of time together doing fun stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are taking it very seriously here, which I'm glad. I've been able to go on walks, and people are making sure to keep the distance and everything, which is good. Still being able to you can still be friendly and walk a safe distance apart.
It's like playing a weird video game of being like, avoid that human.
Yeah.
You see somebody walking at you and you start like eyeing up your escape routes about how you're going to get around them. And
Yeah.
so everybody's doing the same thing. It's like that awkward dance that you used to do when you go in and out of the door at the same time as somebody. Oh no, after you. And now it's like doing that from 6-12 feet away from each other. So everybody here is doing well health-wise. We're all fine so far. It's been an exhausting month for many reasons. And I guess part of the theme of today's video too is going to be going through the motions of how to readjust and alter your plan slightly while still trying to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, we had Heather. Thank you very much. My sister Heather sent us $2. I guess that's cheaper than sending a greeting card. But Heather, you don't have to send us money. We're happy just to see your name pop up there. What a brat. She does that every time we're on.
Heather.
So I had been planning this great build for the store, an addition to look like an old-fashioned shop, and I really wanted to do it.
Well, it's not like that's never going to happen. It's just not happening this second.
It's not happening this second. Well, I didn't finish.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm not sure if the building itself is going to happen this year. We'd already paid for the permits and everything. And after your permits get approved, which they're not approved yet, after your development permit gets approved, you have 1 year to complete your building. So that would give us, a little bit of time to try and complete the steps as we can afford to. But as of right now, as of this second, I'm still planning on getting the foundation poured, because that is something that we've already got plans for, we're committed to, and you can't build a building without a foundation. That's the most important thing. And I figure even if it's delayed in the construction, we'll still have a place where we can maybe use as a patio or park vehicles on it or who knows what. So it'll probably have some kind of use, but that won't be happening till June. That'll give us the entire month of May to do some metal detecting, right? At the store.
That should be interesting.
That'll be an outing with Melissa and the kids. We're going to go to our yard and metal detect and dig up whatever we find. That should be a pretty fun episode, I think, since nobody's ever been on that yard for 100 years or dug it up.
Cal said you should be on the TV show. Our TV, love how you do the show.
Oh, thanks, Cal. I appreciate that. We have, let's see, a couple months. So it's the end of April. So we've got a little over a month, I guess, before we have to worry about the foundation on the building being poured. It's not the ideal time to do the complete build, I don't think, but getting the foundation is important. So that's why if you've been following on our Facebook page, which is just Curiosity Inc., just the abbreviated version, that's us, you'll see that I've listed numerous vehicles that I have for sale because I want to, our store isn't making revenue right now because we're closed down. Oh, thank you, Mary Lou. Because we're not really selling a whole lot, I've decided that it's probably best if I just sell off a couple of our cars and use it to pay down debt and to put a little bit of money aside so that we can do this foundation pour. So if you're on our Facebook page and you see, I think I've listed the Isetta, listed the Cadillac. Kind of don't really want to sell that one, but I figure it's summertime, I could ride my motorcycle and I still have the ambulance that I could drive as my grocery getter if need be. Nothing like going through a pandemic and driving a retired ambulance around. That seems like a surreal plot to a movie, but this is now my life. It's like some weird Mad Max situation that we've gotten in. Anyway, So I'm going to thin down the collection a little bit and try and put that money towards, future endeavors such as the foundation. The alpha, we'll see. I did list the alpha for sale too, but if it doesn't sell, I'll probably go through the process of getting it inspected and drive that this summer, because it would be really nice to have some kind of little sports car just to kind of put a smile on your face.
But right now you're thinking about driving the Alpha, right?
I'm thinking that I would have,
about the Alpha.
yeah, I'm thinking that the Alpha would become more of a daily driver, I think, for summer. But I don't know what's going to happen. We're still figuring out. Oh, thank you. Save the Caddy Fund. That's funny. Somebody just gave, thank you. You didn't have to send me $50. And no, I would prefer not to sell the Cadillac if I didn't have to. But, I figured, well, sometimes you got to make decisions that are best for your family and best for your business, and selling off a few of the bigger toys are probably, the smart thing to do, the smart way to go. I'm just reading Too Tall's comment. When you cannot get the foundation poured, then work on it, building up and dry it in. Yeah, the Too Tall, thank you. You're right. If you can get the foundation poured, which is the most expensive part of building a building like that, really. And if you can get the walls up and the roof on, then you can actually get it lockable and you can use it as a storage building. And the cost of doing the frame on a building like that is not that much. Like the trusses and the lumber and materials to put the building up is probably only $5,000 or $6,000. So it's not a huge cost to get the materials for the building. There's labor involved. Of course, we'd probably talk to our usual friends to see if they can help out with the labor on that. Thank you, Aaron, very much. What's that emoji of? It's like, it looks like it looks like a pear that's green and blowing kisses.
Oh,
Somebody sent us an emoji. That was funny. So let's.
Bob's on.
Somebody's asking. Christina asked, "How are you, Melissa?" And thank you, Terry.
I'm okay. we're doing okay. I had somebody ask if I'm teaching right now, and as of right now, I'm not, because all the schools are still closed. So
thank you, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew. Oh, and thank you guys all very much for all the birthday wishes as well for tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow's Melissa's birthday. That's the big news for tomorrow.
I had last Tuesday, I had some of the kids from my class. I was working at my dad's apartment trying to get that all cleared out. A whole bunch of kids showed up to wish me a happy birthday because they thought it was last week. So that was nice. I didn't get to see them, but I got to see pictures.
Oh, thank you, Mark. People are sending you birthday wishes.
Oh, thank you guys very much.
And yeah, I mean, tomorrow the only errand I have to run. Sadly, Melissa's been very busy working to clear her father's estate. His
well, not just me
and her brother.
siblings.
Her brothers have been helping her too. So the ambulance is completely packed full of stuff that's going to be going to auction from Dave's estate. So that at least we do what we can to help out.
Thank you very much, Teresa.
Thanks, April. Yeah, so we are. It's funny. A lot of people are saying I wouldn't put the addition on this year. It's interesting because now is a horrible time to put an addition up, but it's also a really good time to put an addition up because there's a lot of people and contractors that aren't working right now. So to get some of this work done, if we can, truthfully though, we're trying to get it so Hans and Josh and Jakoda can help us and kind of keep it in-house to keep the cost down a bit and have our friends work with us. Foundation has to be done professionally. It's an engineered foundation, so that's got to be done by someone else. But we'll hopefully get our friends out helping us out when the time comes.
Chris said 29, right, Melissa? I'd be a rough 29, Chris. Thank you very much to Kathy, and also, oh man, I say it wrong every time, but I recognize Paul Gara.
Rich is asking about the black powder gun.
Oh,
Rich,
thank you.
Rich, if you have questions about anything that I have in the store, you can certainly email me at curiosityedmonton@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to respond back. If you're talking about the one that broke my toe, I have a couple old black powder pistols and things at the store. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can reach out to me. Let's see. Mama, thank you so much. We're very happy that you guys are joining us with these adventures. The last one I did live, I was opening up all the toy boxes.
Oh yeah, I caught
That's the last live feed I did. And that was a pretty good haul. I do admit I love getting old toys like just dropped off at the door or in the mail. Like that's a pretty fun thing. That makes me feel like a kid again. So that was pretty awesome. I had a gentleman write me the other day, and he has this massive collection of Corgi and Dinky toys. But the problem is that I don't know, what the market's gonna be like for selling that stuff. So we're trying to be very cautious with the sorts of things that we're buying and bringing in right now.
How's your Civil War wound?
My Civil War wound, my toe is still sore. It's not as black as it was before, like a mummy toe.
Yeah.
Not like you. She's a mummy, like a mother mummy.
My whole foot. So I broke my toe as well before all this, and my whole foot, the top all turned purple, but Alexander's toe.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer.
It's pretty gross.
What the heck is going on in our world right now? I mean, there's been so much happening.
It's been very busy. I mean, if you can believe it.
Yes, and finally out of quarantine, which is nice.
Well, I haven't been in quarantine. I was free for a while. Yeah. These guys have been stuck.
Well, and they always say safe at home, not stuck at home. But let's be honest, if you're not someone who is a homebody, I'm not really a homebody. I like being with my family, but I love being out driving around and doing stuff. It was pretty
But it's good that, I mean, regardless, even if you were out, you'd still have to be very precise on where you're going. Not just careful. You have to decide what's safe to expose yourself for.
Yeah, that's true. So this past week, the first thing I did once we got the okay that we could go out again, we got the Ghostbusters car, the ambulance back, and I touched up or repaired the surface rust that was happening on the sides of it. So ambulance looks good again. Thankfully, that kept me busy for pretty much a whole day. I was lying on the driveway working on that, and it's looking much better. The sides were getting a little crusty after a long winter. Oh, thank you, Rich. Thank you very much.
Thank you. She said she asked if she can adopt us.
Let's see, I fixed a Burgermeister German beer advertising sign. The face of it, they're silk screen like those old clocks, but a lot of it had delaminated. So I took a razor blade and I carefully got rid of all the delaminated
I'm glad
blue.
I didn't hear that.
She hates the sound of razor blades on glass.
No, metal on glass is the worst sound for me.
Yeah, forks and knives. If I want to bother Melissa.
That's not even as bad, but like a razor blade on glass.
Yeah.
No. Oh, just thinking about it.
Sometimes I will intentionally pest my wife, and I'll just slide
sometimes.
Sometimes, not all the time, slide my fork across the dinner plate just a little bit to get that squeaky sound, because her whole body reacts before words come out. It's like this.
Like my whole body reacts like an arm juts out.
Yeah. No, your body reacts afterwards, and usually I'm in trouble for it. Pretty much every time. So anyway, I repainted it. The nice thing is you can repaint the backside of the glass and finish it, so it looks really nice. And just keeping myself busy fixing clocks and repairing things around the house and just generally trying to keep busy. I'm looking forward to being able to get back to my store and doing some metal detecting.
Yeah, we're lucky because we have more buildings that we can go to, so we can still social distance but get out of the house. So.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were commenting on Alexander's hair, and
I cut this myself. This is my quarantine cut.
Yeah, but he says that, but Alexander always does that.
Cut.
Yeah, because we're in quarantine. But do you normally go and get your hair cut?
No.
No, Alexander normally cuts his hair.
Oh.
So this wasn't his first attempt at a haircut, and they're like, wow, that turned out good for the quarantine cut, but he's been cutting his own hair for a really long time.
That's mainly because I don't know why. I think I went to a salon and they did like a botched job, and I'm like,
they did a really bad job.
I was like, well, I could have done that.
They cut his hair really close on the sides where you could see like his scalp through it, and like it was so uneven. And yeah.
Anyway, I've been practicing on the kid's head. Anyway.
Yeah.
Josh and Dakota cut their own hair too. They do a good job of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There you go. See, now it's Renaissance men here. I
think Hansen's and Oivier are on as well.
Oh, hey guys. Somebody said, do you remember what you did with the first edition Batgirl comic? I sold all those comics as a lot to somebody, mailed them off quite some time ago before this whole pandemic thing.
Oh yeah, there. Reshaved my head a week ago.
Have you guys attempted, somebody just said that they cut their own hair. Yeah. April says, grow my hair long. My hair was it was here. That's where my hair was before. And
it was all kind of flopping in his face.
I had to talk to somebody the other day, and my hair was blowing in the wind, and I couldn't see, and I was like, okay, that's enough. Anyway.
I have to dye my hair. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? For sure, do it from a box and do it on a vlog because I know it's going to turn orange. There's no way that that one's not going to turn orange.
What color are you going for?
It's just my normal hair color, but it's getting dark and ratty looking. Like, I don't know. It's not good. Thank you very much, Amanda.
My mom's going the other way. I think she wants to let her hair be more natural.
Yeah, but mine looks gross. It's just getting worse. So
Yeah.
I need more sun too because it's getting dark and my hair isn't naturally dark. So I think it's just from lack of
being outdoors.
sunshine. Yes.
I've been trying to get out as much as we can. The kids are out playing right now.
Yeah.
We have a badminton net set up in our yard, and they're out there playing. I don't know if we don't have a badminton birdie, and we haven't been able to go out and buy one. So they've been
really creative though.
First day they made their own birdie. They took the top of a water bottle and they cut it down and they put a little ball on it and taped it on. So they made their own birdie, and it actually worked. But probably exactly what happened to the other birdies, it flew immediately into the neighbor's yard, and we haven't seen it yet. So
they probably were like, "What is this?"
yeah, they're probably like, "Why did somebody throw the top of a water bottle in our yard?" But
they have a dog though, so hopefully the dog didn't like get it.
Yeah. No, I don't want to do a go. Somebody said, we'll do a GoFundMe and save your Cadillac. It's not really that. It's like when you're in a situation, you have debts or bills you have to pay and you have assets. Usually what you do is you sell off the things that you have to pay it down. So we're not necessarily really asking for...
But we also want to save like GoFundMes and stuff like that for people that we can help. So we don't want it to be for us because we want to make sure that it's for a very specific reason and to help somebody else for the GoFundMe. So
and we don't typically do them that often until we find that there's someone that we run into that actually really needs the help. And, in Adam and Hans is on right now. They were both unsuspecting. We kind of just blindsided them with doing a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
I think that's, that felt like the best way to do it in that case. And thankfully, a lot of people were asking about Hans, and Hans is on right now, so maybe Hans, you can tell all the folks how you're doing. I could tell him for you, but
I could tell him for you
if he comes on. But
Hans doesn't know I was on.
Yeah, Hans has been very busy. He's one of you right now who's been replying back in the comments. If you don't see the comments popping up at your end, you can turn your messages on and you can see it. So
I forgot Kathleen was from Brandon. We used to live in Winnipeg, and when we were driving back to Winnipeg, Brandon was the hardest because I think it's 2 hours to Winnipeg still, but you're so close, but that 2 hours was so far.
That's the last stretch, from Brandon. Brandon, Manitoba is an interesting town. It's very historic looking. It's sort of a smaller town. If you're from Brandon, I don't mean that in any disrespect. It is a smaller sort of town. But they were famous in a sense because they had a really large insane asylum there. And if you've ever seen any horror movies where there's like a 1920s insane asylum and it's all boarded up, well, they've got one of those in Brandon, Manitoba. And I went out there. I was working on a film and they asked me to go out there to take pictures of it. So I walked all around that place. And yes, it was a little bit hair-raising because the little padded rooms and all that stuff is still there. It's a creepy place. So if anybody watching is a filmmaker and they need a really good set, they can go to Brandon, Manitoba and film in there. And I'm sure other movies have been there as well. But it's is it haunted? I don't. Maybe why not? I don't know. I've not seen anything while I was in there, but it was kind of creepy. That's for sure. Especially considering a lot of the buildings didn't have power turned on, so the paint was peeling and.
Did you start off in Alberta?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started here and then we moved around. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sydney. We both grew up in Alberta.
Yeah.
Melissa was in a smaller town, Wainwright, and then she went out near Evansburg and then came back to Edmonton. And we met when we were in that high school sort of age when I was friends with her stepsister, just friends. And I went over there to we were doing a class assignment together. It was a biology assignment. And she said, why don't you come over for dinner? And then Melissa was there and Melissa was like, oh, you know how to play guitar? Can you show me how to play guitar? And and I guess just we kind of got along. And I think that we became friends after that, Melissa and I. And we just started talking and chatting, and then I moved away and we wrote each other. And now many moons later.
Many moons.
Oh, somebody said, Jennifer Carlson, would you care to explain? I don't understand. Some people are really upset that I have to sell my car. I would, if I could, I would keep all of my
Maybe
vehicles.
she might have asked a question and I missed it.
Oh, okay, we're
I
gonna
don't
go
know.
back. Jennifer, if you wanted to re-ask your question, if I missed it, I didn't mean to. I was busy chatting and staring at my wife.
Sometimes people get pretty upset. You know, that's the thing though, is that especially now people get more upset because everybody's stuck in.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll try and answer some questions here too. Probably one of the stranger places that I went into when I was working in the film industry was a basement of an abandoned train processing station, and it went like 5 or 6 stories underground, and it was all flooded on the lower levels, and there was no power, but it was like a time capsule. This is in Winnipeg. Everything was still, it was like being in the Titanic almost. Everything was that 1912 sort of era, the tiles and the sinks and everything, and it was still there, but just kind of rotted looking. And I was walking through there with my friend Cliff at the time, who worked with me, and we both had flashlights. And then we're walking through this dark underground tunnel with these old abandoned offices off either side. And then we hear from deep below this elevator shaft, we hear, and him, and I looked over, and he I don't know if he'd remember it the same way, but I just remember him leaving and me going, okay, well, I guess I gotta go too. But you know, when you're in the dark like that and the guy holding your flashlight leaves, you kind of have to make the choice to follow the flashlight or stay in the dark. So we left, but it was still a fun adventure anyway. Did we sell the Potter's? No, I still own the house in Provost, the Potter's house. We would like to sell it at some point. It's not on the market right now because we have tenants in it, but if someone out there wants to buy a house that has tenants in it, well, hey, there you go. The house is doing fine. We're moving into spring out in Provost, the Potter's house. Everything's gonna be budding. There's a lot of greenery on that property, so it's probably gonna green up very nicely. The hedges look fantastic, so it's gonna be a nice property again. Especially having a family live in it's always really good too.
Yeah.
Randy, thank you so much. Yeah. So did Jennifer ever ask her question again? I guess not, hey?
No.
Okay.
She left already.
Okay. All right. So things that are happening right now. We are going into the next week full of promise because we can go out and do things again, but we're still not really able to take the kids out to go do stuff. But they can come to the store and they're going to help me metal detect and keep busy. And
We just rather have them safe, obviously. That makes sense.
I see Cindy saying hopefully
Thank you,
Alex will
Bob.
start singing again soon. I really just I don't know. I haven't felt like singing a song. I will again at some point, but I haven't even picked up the guitar since Dave passed. Just haven't felt like it. I think if you've all had some loss in your lives, you probably know that feeling of just
Blah.
Yeah, just you don't feel.
I mean, some days are
Normal.
worse than others, at least for me, for sure. Today wasn't a very good day so far. I mean, it's been okay. It's been beautiful. We got to go for a walk and everything, but it was a lot harder. But I didn't have to go into that house today, so that was a plus. And I'm done next week, so I don't have to go back there again.
Yes, and thank you so much for all the people that had sent cards and such beautiful and generously worded letters for Dad.
Messages and yeah.
Melissa read through I think all the cards that came in that were for her dad, and it was really something.
Yeah, and I've tried to make sure that I haven't showed my siblings all of them, but I forgot.
Well, we also haven't been able to do that kind of stuff.
But I mean, you want to know what's hard? Trying to clear out somebody's apartment with a sibling that you have to social distance with. I mean, my one brother came with like a respirator and everything, so he was easy. But you forget, you're in such a so used to just being able to walk around with people. But my brother's on top of things. There were times where I got too close and he'd be like, social distance, woman, like, which is good.
Yeah, it's for anybody who's gone through something like this, there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of forms and you don't really get to go through that just calm grieving process. As soon as someone passes, there's just a whole bunch of stuff you have to do. So not only did Melissa have to clean out his whole apartment with her brothers,
and then everybody's in quarantine, so it was just
in quarantine.
Yeah, so I was the only one that was able. Thank goodness I wasn't in quarantine because I would have had 3 days to clean that whole place out. That would have been really awful. And then there's no donation places open. Well, I shouldn't say none. There were like 2 that were open. Thank goodness. So, no, it's been not good. I met you in Winnipeg.
At Portage Place? Well, that must be when we lived there. those years ago. Peg
If I
girl.
was a husband stealer, that's funny if I said that, peg girl.
What I wonder what Peg Girl was doing at the time. Like how did we run into
Portage
her?
Place.
Would have been when you worked at that jewelry store?
I don't know.
Maybe? Hard to
Maybe.
say.
Well, you must be. That's funny that I would have said something like that.
But you know, we're pressing forward and we're trying to you know, get as much done as we can and still try and be as you know, as loving in Dave's memory as possible too. So it means a lot that you guys all sent such nice
It really did help. Like I think in the beginning you're kind of mad when, I mean, there's so many emotions and you can't fix anything. But all the comments and everything actually did help. All the messages and everything did help. And it wasn't like I had to keep over explaining everything over and over again. It was just being able to take it as if it was a gift. And I think it meant a lot too that a lot of people experienced his death, not just me and not just Alexander. It was like everybody across the world. And that made it feel a tiny bit better.
Yes, and we live on. He lives on through his grandkids and through you and through.
But
your
he still
brothers and
doesn't
sisters.
feel like he's gone like most days.
I
But
know.
are you
That's how I
keeping
felt with my dad.
Are you going to keep the Rolls Royce?
Christiana. Is that how I say it?
He'll get there.
She says, Alex, are you going to keep the Rolls Royce? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, I haven't finished it yet. So I'm planning on keeping it at very least until it's a running driving car. And then I'll assess what it needs. It's in the shop right now. It's getting some repairs done to it, mechanical. And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet because let's just say there was a couple of surprises when they attempted to start the car that I was not really expecting. So that happened. I don't have the car back just yet, which is okay because there's too much stuff going on here, you know, to have another vehicle back here right now. Silly question, is Alex ever kept a car for long? I, like Alexandra, who was it that asked that question? I think, Vinyl One Earthlink says, silly question. I enjoy cars like nobody's business. I love them, but I love saving them. I love finding them, kind of like antiques. I love the thrill of the hunt. I love finding something that has been lost or forgotten and bring it back to life. And after that's done, I don't have a warehouse where I can keep all these things. So a lot of times they end up going because something else inevitably comes along that's equally interesting. Bob says you need to find a 64 T-Bird. Oddly, Bob, one of my first cars was a 64 T-Bird. That's what I had in high school. I had a white 64 T-Bird. And I don't know if I told that story before or not, but I had it when I was 18. And I drove up to a guy's house in it, and he said, "Oh, I've got one. You want to trade straight across?" He had a 64 T-Bird too, and I said, "Well, why would I want to do that?" He said, "Well, mine runs and drives, but it needs work." So what he showed me underneath the cover, it was a convertible, and just the back window of the convertible had come out of it. So I traded my hardtop for a convertible straight across, and I drove that thing around when I was 19 or 20. So this guy was driving around a 64 T-Bird convertible when I was 19 or 20 years old. It was same color too. It was white even.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that car?
The hardtop or the convertible?
Convertible was
Yeah,
when I
I saw
lived
both of them.
in Saskatchewan. Yeah, it's funny. And I did live in Saskatchewan for a short time too, a couple of years or so. So I was working for the football team out there. But it is a hobby which has been part of me my whole life. And I think back on those times when I started off collecting and you'd find a little toy car and fix it up. And then that turned into buying an old bicycle at a yard sale or garage sale and fixing it up, which now you can't do. I don't know about your area. They're not allowing garage sales where I am. Mm-hmm. They said garage sales are done for the year now. So you kind of progress from toys into bikes, into motorcycles, and into cars, and it's a lot of fun to bring them back to life. But I think next vehicle I get, I would like to get something. I would like to get an XKE, ideally, like a convertible, one that's already in really good shape, so I don't have to do a bunch of rust repair on it. Because I'm done with rust. I'm over rust.
I've heard this before.
No, drawing a line in the sand. I don't like rust on cars, and it's just. Paint is very expensive nowadays too. So you go in to get a car painted, and it used to be you could go into like in the United States they have Earl Schwab, which is like really inexpensive, or Maaco used to be like a $400 or $500 paint job. So you get a car, you do the body work yourself, you roll it in, somebody spray it for cheap. Well, now even just the materials are a couple $1,000s because they've changed a lot and it's very expensive. The paint job on that Rolls Royce was over 5,000 Canadian, which is probably like, 4,000 or 3,800 US, which was still a fair price considering how big that car was and that they really made it look nice. But, you can't be affording to put down crazy paint jobs on cars all the time. So we'll think of something.
Did you see this one?
Oh, hey Alex, I emailed you about my dad's health. Hope you got it. Your videos have helped a bit more than you know. Well, thank you, Guru Dude. I don't know if I saw your email or not. Perhaps I'll have to go through and make sure that I got it.
And thank you for the birthday.
And thank you so much. Yes, very, very
You
kind.
know, it's funny because Alexander's like, okay, I better check the store messages. And I always think, like, for me, it's like one or two. And it says, he just checked it, 46 messages. And he sits down and he's like got his pen and everything ready to go, or his notes. And same with like emails. It's crazy, like fast. Like it's hard to get to all of them. There's not like 5 new ones. Every time he goes on, there's like 1,000 new. So
Well, I'm grateful that people want to reach out.
but it's hard to get.
It's a combination of people asking questions about the business, but also sometimes it's just people sharing like funny jokes or memes and things.
Yeah.
And it's just really hard to get through it all. But again, I'm very grateful to all of you that do reach out. And that's why we do have the store email. Just be patient for me to get back. And
Yeah, but I mean, like for me, I wouldn't be as understanding if I didn't know. Like when I email somebody and be like, okay, it's been a week, but there's a lot to go through. I mean, and it's fun too, though, because he's right. There's questions. It's interesting, but it's hard to get through it all.
Oh, hey, Dave. No, I think Dave, once we open back up, just come back in and look for the odd Hot Wheels now and again. I will be so happy to see some of those familiar faces like Dave, who's Nitro's Diecast, and for Bob and for my friend Greg and all those customers that come. Part of having a store isn't just about having a store and people walk in. We're a small, like an old-fashioned community store. So we have people come through the store that are like friends to us. Mm-hmm. And we're kind of a place for people to come hang out. They might walk in, look around at stuff, and then they'll just hang out for a while. Bob will come and hang out and we'll chat. And, it's like an old-fashioned general store used to be and probably should still be. It's just nice to have that sense of community. And I think it's been almost 2 months now since I've closed the shop for this COVID-19. And I really miss that community and I miss having those people come in. I can't wait. I don't even care about selling you stuff. I mean, it's obviously nice when you do make a sale to people, but I more than that, I miss the community and I miss people coming in and chatting and being part of that. And so I'm fortunate that we have YouTube and fortunate that we can chat now and again through this or social media, but still not the same as seeing a friendly face walk through those doors.
Yeah, I know. At least like for Bob, he has a YouTube as well. And so we get to kind of see him.
Sandra asked, curious, did you ever sell the old store? No, we've not sold the old location. It is like the bane of my existence because I'm having to pay a mortgage on an empty building right now. And we're not even storing stuff in that building because it's up for sale and we have tenants that may want to take it. And if we find somebody to rent it, we're gonna have to empty it anyway. So right now I've been paying for an empty space. Which is definitely a pain in the butt. But I'll be happy when either it's rented or sold. That'll be a big relief to us. Really, all I can think about for this season moving forward, and that's the other part of this video, is what happens moving forward, is just thinning down on the things and getting down to the necessities, I guess, or getting down to what we need. We just need our house that we're in and the one old-fashioned general store. That's, I don't mind making payments. I don't mind all that stuff, but I don't need an extra... We didn't need the extra Potter's house as much as we love it and it was an amazing part of our lives, or the extra store. Those need to find new homes at some point because that's not part of our long-term goal or long-term program here.
Thank you very much, Susan.
Yeah, our commercial mortgage broker was able to push our mortgage 3 months. So we don't have to pay for another couple months, I guess, but the bills keep coming in. You got to pay for your heat, you got to pay for power, all that stuff keeps coming in, the phone bills and all that. So, you just do what you got to do and you keep paying those things. I've been very active getting stuff down to, I will be active getting stuff down to auction tomorrow. We have got an ambulance full of things to take down and it's just going to be busy. Oh, thank you very much. FMA Karen. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think tomorrow's just going to be a fun day. We're just going to do family stuff for the most part.
Yeah, I just want it to be, the truth is, I just want to spend time with Alexander and the kids and just, I think the gift would be to have as normal day as possible. That's all I want. Just,
Thank you, Deets, by the way. I saw that message. She sent you $10 for your
oh,
birthday.
thanks.
Melissa's tough for her birthday because I'm fortunate in our relationship. Melissa is not the spender. Guys, you'll oftentimes hear one partner complain about the other. Like, I can't believe they're crazy spending. You can guess which one of us that is in this relationship. It's not her.
No.
Even trying to find you a birthday present stuff.
But I legitimately would not. I don't really want anything. I honestly, if I could just my family here to get together and visit, that would be my gift. But I can't have that. But I mean, I can have my Alexander and the kids here. So
Thank you, Maxine, and thank you, Jerry, too, for the super chats. Really appreciate that. I still think it's important for us, and I think you're right. Tomorrow's going to be a great day to do family things together, even if it's tossing a baseball around or throwing a frisbee back and forth. We're going to go out and have fun. I have to go take an ambulance full of stuff to auction in the morning, but beyond that, it's just going to be a family day.
She said, Chris said she's the yin to your yang.
Yes. Not sure what our kids are up to. There's a lot of
yelling,
a lot of yelling happening out there, but I think in a fun sense.
They're both smiling and standing, so I feel like,
yeah.
You have 3 kids and they're older. If you're like, there's no blood, they're smiling, they'll be fine. I mean, there's 3 of them. Eventually, one will come and tattle if something's actually happening.
That's true.
So you could see both of our heads turn. I wonder if the neighbors had to listen to that. Sorry, neighbors.
I think somebody was asking, is this the right time for you to be going ahead with the addition or part of the construction on the shop? And I don't know. Is it the right time to have a dream in the back of your pocket, something that you want to aim for? I think more than anything, this is a time when a person needs to have some sort of goals. And I think I'm going to approach it very carefully. I'm not going to bowl right into it. It's not going to be a, like the Potter's house where every single week I did some major renovation. It's not going to be quite like that.
No.
But it is going to be nice to make some progress. It's going to be nice to have something to aim for, to have a dream to go after, because I think you'd agree that I'm a person who likes to have some big long-term project on the go at all times. Of course.
And an immediate, we're doing it now project. Happy birthday, Shelley, with an E.
I was so beside myself that the car was away getting paint for so long that I had to buy an Alfa Romeo to fix up in the meantime. And incidentally, both those cars were not terribly expensive when I bought them, so it worked out pretty good.
Hey, Jim.
Jim. Jim is saying hi to us and to Matthew Fox. Well, thank you and hello. And I am appreciative of Matthew, who's a friend of ours in New York, former firefighter who's on here putting out fires. That's what he does. I wonder if that's why instinctively Matthew likes to moderate, is because he's a firefighter. He's putting out verbal fires this time versus...
He's fast. Like usually I won't even see, like I'll see like a message where I'm like, wait up, and it's already taken care of before I can even.
Hope you guys are all doing well out there. You can put in the comments too what you've been up to during your self-isolation or your time indoors. What things have you been doing to keep yourself mentally focused and happy? And you can share some of those things in the comments here. What are things that you've been doing? Well, actually, that's a really terrible question to ask my wife.
So for me, I know eventually, once I'm able to have a bit of normalcy back in my days, right now it's not over yet, I try to focus on things that, playing with the kids and really enjoying my time with Alexander and, getting outside is a big one. But I haven't been able to really do that yet. Today was the first day, really. That's probably why I'm so blah, because it's all kind of catching up.
Yeah, she's been go like every single day. It's been like her job going over to her dad's place and cleaning and packing.
Well, from 10 a.m. till like 4:30 usually.
Yeah, that's a full day.
But there's like, you don't eat when you're in there. So there's like, I've been drinking water though. So I mean, I guess if I was drinking water, I'm sure I could. Meditating. It's really actually good to keep your mind clear. So.
Oh, somebody asked me a question here. They said, Ken asks, Alex, could you describe what you look for in a car when you're looking for a restoration project? when I'm, that's funny because you'd look at that raccoon eating Rolls Royce and think, he must have seen something that. When I'm looking for a project, I'm trying to find something that's a little bit unusual, maybe was really well kept and then forgotten, something that's maybe a little on the rare side. And in all three cases of the last three project cars, the last four, let's say, project cars I got, they all had sort of that factor. The Cadillac was probably the most normal of the last four vehicles I bought. Normal in the sense that it's a North American, it's a domestic vehicle, it's a four-door, it's not a two-door convertible. But it was a one owner, one family car that had been sitting for many years. And it just, when you see something like that and it's on flat tires and it's dusty, sometimes I just feel like I got to bring it home and give it a bit of a polish and get it going again. With the case of the Alfa Romeo, I was approached by the people that had that. It was an estate situation. I'd bought a car off of them before, and this is like a year later. They said they wanted to sell that one. And it was forgotten. I didn't know anything about it. It was in British Columbia. So for me, that would be like the next state over. I didn't even I'd have access to the car. But based on the pictures I saw and the rarity of the car and the price was okay, I figured I'd take the risk. So generally, I'm looking for something, hopefully, that doesn't have much rust, but is unusual, kind of rare, and then you're not going to get upside down on. And that means if you're restoring a car, most times when you restore a vehicle, you spend way more in restoration than what the car's resale is. So on one hand, you have this vehicle that you can get at a low cost, but it's going to cost you a whole bunch of money to fix it. And so many, many times you can get into a vehicle and you'll get it in over your head. I try not to do that. You have to look at a vehicle that has strong potential for resale and good bones. And then basically you can do something with it. But if you're ever out there looking for a classic car and you're not really into restoration, avoid buying a restoration project whenever possible because it's very expensive. You're always better off to buy one that's been restored at a fair price or a daily driver at a fair price than you are to buy a junky car and fix it up. I'm able to keep the cost down on mine because I do a fair bit of the work myself. So I'm kind of acting as a general contractor, and I'll get to take it into shops that I know and can trust for certain work that I can't do here in the garage. But if I was to send, let's say if I took the Rolls Royce into a shop and said, do everything that I did, oh my goodness, that would have been absolutely crazy. And when I do the final episode, the reveal of the car, I'll tell you kind of what the cost have added up to. But I'm not over my head on that car yet. So there's still, from what the car is worth to where I'm in at it, there's still a little bit of room there. And I want to be careful not to go too crazy on it.
Somebody said, do you keep in, this is actually a coincidence, but do you keep in contact with the lady that you bought the Cadillac from?
I just saw her the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like we went over to her house, but
No, she was like, just happened to be, this is like a few weeks ago, I guess, prior to Dave, and ran into her saw her walking by the grocery store. She's hard to miss because she wears these lovely knitted outfits that she made herself, and she's got flowers in her hair and stuff. Yeah. She's a beautiful lady, and she is also a piano teacher. When they say, you bought your Cadillac off a little old lady, well, she's a petite lady. I'll give her that for sure. She's probably 4 foot something. And I can't imagine her driving that car. Well, there was a phone book on the seat she was sitting on a Yellow Pages back when they were like that thick. There was like a 1986 Yellow Pages on the seat that looked like it had a bit of wear. But yeah, I can see why she got rid of it. That's a lot of car for a normal person, let alone if you're 4 feet taller. So it would have been crazy. But yeah, I do run into her every so often. She's apparently still doing good. She said she's doing her piano classes online now with her students.
Oh yeah, that's what Jason's piano teacher is doing that as well.
Yeah. And I do like the car, absolutely. Somebody said, would you ever restore a pickup? I'll come back to that in a second. Thank you very much, Wendy.
Did you bake me a cake?
Today was the first day I could get out, and I did get her a cake, but I didn't.
He got me the cake I like anyways.
Yes, Melissa has a tuxedo chocolate cake that she likes.
From Costco. Those ones. If you guys have had those, if you have those at your Costco's. Specifically
the Costco chocolate tuxedo cake. Yes. Melissa likes those. So I got her a cake that I knew that she liked, but no, I didn't bake one.
Well, I was most happy about all the veggies and fruits that came home. Thank you very much, Wendy. She said, take care. You guys are great at entertainment, and I love that you are fellow Albertans.
Somebody asked, would I consider restoring a truck? I suppose I would. The reason I haven't gotten into trucks too much is that there's 5 of us in the family. Um, that hasn't stopped me from, well, also a lot of times old trucks. I have had, when I had a 79
Yeah.
Ford not that long ago.
I was gonna say, what about that car?
Yeah, I do like old trucks. It's just, with my business, I wanted to have something that would either have like a canopy or a lower load height, because I'm often moving really heavy things in and out of the back. That's why I got the ambulance, in fact, because I needed a truck, but I wanted something that was covered, and I want something that was lower to the ground. And when you start putting all those things together, either a van or an ambulance is really an ideal vehicle for that sort of thing. But at some point, possibly. I had a really interesting truck offered to me recently, 36 International, fully restored, but the guy said it only does about 50 miles an hour. Well, it doesn't even do 50 miles an hour, maybe 45 miles an hour, because the gearing was different in a truck back in those days, especially a farm vehicle. They were just meant for going up and down a farm road or across a field. They weren't meant for doing highway speed. So if you wanted to drive a truck like that in the city, you'd have to do something with the rear end, put a different rear end in it. And it's possible. Get your gearing changed out.
Once I start making videos, I tried to do a vlog today. It was bad. It didn't work out realistically. But once I start doing them again, I'll get some cooking videos up. I like German chocolate cake as well. For some reason, somebody said it's migraine on a plate for those cakes, and I get migraines really easy. And for some reason, that tuxedo cake is fine. I don't know why, but that's good for me.
Maybe it's full of Tylenol.
Oh,
Maybe that's the
wow.
special white frosting in the middle. It's just thick
You
Tylenol.
went right there.
I don't have a headache at all anymore.
I don't know what's in there, but either way, this one somehow is good. So
Somebody said, have you ever had a car that you've sold and wish you had back?
I know which one.
Well, not really.
Yes, the one car you did regret. You mention it all the time.
Well, the XKE Jag, like that's the car that's how I know that I like those cars, because that's the one that's pulling me back to it. That car, when you walked into the garage, we had a black 69 Jaguar XKE with a 4.2 liter engine. It was a 2+2, which is less desirable than a 2-seater or a convertible, but I liked it nonetheless. And I got it really cheap because the guy couldn't get it to start, and it was just a fuel pump, thankfully. Joyce, thank you so much. she sent you birthday wishes. But that car, my friend Jason came by and we power polished it, made it look all great. And when you walked in the garage and you opened up the garage door and there was that long black hood waiting for you, it reminded me of the cartoons when you would see like Uncle Tex would drive up in his Cadillac, and it would just be like 5 minutes of like the hood going by, and then finally you'd see like Uncle Tex in this tiny little cab. That's how driving a Jaguar XKE feels, an E-Type. It's all hood. In the interior, there's all these little switches and gauges. I feel like I'm playing the drums, but that's me flipping the switches. They made it like an aircraft console on the inside. So when you're sitting in there's all these gauges. They're like, wow, you had to be like an engineer to drive this car. What does this switch do? And you flip all these toggle switches and things, and there's gauges for everything. It was an experience. And it had lots of get up and go, and it just, it had marginal build quality, but it looked good.
Braden's asked a couple of times. He said, are you interested in old car hubcaps from a Volvo or Oldsmobile?
Possibly. I'm not buying a lot of hubcaps right now because I don't get into the buying and selling of car parts too much. But there's always somebody out there looking for a hubcap. It's funny.
Wolfpack said, hello, Alex and Melissa. Hope you're staying safe and happy birthday. This is Kevin, the one doing the HO scale building.
Oh, okay. Hey, Kevin. Nice to see you.
Oh, it jumped.
Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on with us. Melissa's birthday is tomorrow. We're taking things to auction. Let's see, Bob is asking what are our hours of operation going to be. They should be the same when we reopen. And Bob, maybe I'll get your feedback on this, or if you're local to the Edmonton area, or maybe if you're not local and you have thoughts. Going through this process really made me appreciate products that were sourced locally. And I think I would love to start incorporating some general store type merchandise from local suppliers, such as, I want to be an antique store still, but we carry some other gifting items up at the front of the shop. So maybe somebody who locally makes beautiful soaps, or somebody who makes their own honeys or teas, or who knows what. But I think I'd like to try and start sourcing some locals to put some product, and I really want to support local as much as I can. So if you have a local company, if you're from the Edmonton area or Alberta area and you've got something that you make, Maybe we'll look at incorporating some good old-fashioned general store handmade goods at our shop in the near future too. But again, that's all things that I have to plan. I'm still,
But we don't have an open date yet. Everything is still closed down.
yeah, we don't know when we can open up because it's not up to us. It's up to the government to announce. Now, the province of Saskatchewan is starting to let certain things open up, but antique stores are not considered an essential
I
service.
feel like if they said today you can open tomorrow, we would be smart enough to not open though.
Well, I think if they said you can open tomorrow, I think we would just have to make sure to get some standards in place, like make our rows one way, make sure that there's social
If
distancing.
they told me I could go back to teaching tomorrow, I wouldn't be going back in tomorrow. There's
Yeah.
no, there's no way.
Don't get me wrong. I want to be back to work as much as possible. I just don't want everybody to get sick right
No,
after.
same. It's just I don't want just because.
Well, they said there's like an island in Japan that reopened too soon, and now they had to shut everything down again because they had a second wave. So
It's
you
just
have
it's
to be
not all
really-
about the money. That's the thing. Like our lives are worth more than the money at the end of the day.
We just
We
but
just want everybody to be safe and healthy. Like it's I mean that's impossible for us to all be safe and healthy, but I just wish more than anything that everybody could just be safe.
yes. The thing that is giving me right now is time to oh, sorry, I missed that. James Curtis, chocolate cakes with coconut frosting is his favorite. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, that's good.
He said the super chat to tell us what his favorite cake was. That's funny.
I love that too. I don't blame you. It's good.
This is still giving us an opportunity to reassess the business and reassess our dreams and find streams. So there's a lot of good that is coming out of this downtime. I think you really have to try and make the best of every day. And I've said it before, like even with our kids, we try and get them to accomplish something every single day. Whether it's a craft or a hobby or schoolwork, they've got to be doing something to keep themselves busy. But when it comes to our store, I haven't had this kind of time to just really reassess the business. And
Yeah.
I was just so go, go, go all the time that this is giving me a chance to think differently about what I can carry in the store and what I can do. So I am grateful for that. And I think that we're going to keep coming up with these plans and actions and keep trying to think of creative ways to better our business. So when we do open, it's going to be a whole wonderful new experience. Especially for a lot of folks in our area that were selling at farmers markets that might not have an opportunity to sell their product that way again. Perhaps there's an opportunity for me to sell those sorts of ideas from our store. So we're going to try our very best to support local, to try and employ as many people as we can, if we can build a building and can do that work. I really love being part of our community, and I really want to try and be a positive part of when we get back to work and reopen, and I want to do it safely and responsibly. So know that we certainly will do that.
Russell said, "Happy birthday! My kid's 9th birthday is tomorrow." Well, happy birthday to your child that's 9 tomorrow. Hope you like the ET game. Stay happy and healthy from Saskatoon.
Oh yes, they sent me a ET video game. That's the one I was talking about that essentially ruined Atari because they had a fatal flaw in that game where ET fell in a pit and your game was over like during level 1.
Oh,
Yeah, it fell in a pit and you couldn't get back out. That's a pretty major design flaw, all because they rushed. So let's hope that everything opens at the appropriate times, that we're as safe as can possibly be, and wishing you and all of yours much success and happiness for this year. So we'll see you on a live feed soon. Again, we'll keep you up to date on what's happening in our world, but you should be able to see a video from us coming shortly on getting the store set up again, doing some metal detecting in the yard, just generally having some fun. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. We appreciate you all so much, and for all of you that sent super chat, thank you so much.
and happy birthday messages.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, Cal. We definitely appreciate you guys very much. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. If you need to reach us, you can do so at curiosityedmonton@gmail.com. Stay positive, stay focused, stay energized, look toward the future, focus on the things that matter, and we'll get through this as best we can. Wishing you nothing but love, success, and happiness, and we'll see you guys all soon. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.